So I just filmed this whole elaborate sequence and I get up and I'm like, nailed it, nailed it. You know what I mean? I go back there and it says full. Only recorded 7 seconds. Barely got to the point where I'm sitting my ass on the couch. Robert Pirie here, and today we're going to be stamping some bags. I just want to say go ahead and excuse the couch and the fake fur. It's really not my normal aesthetic. Hey, you gotta make do with what you got. Whenever I was first getting into the coffee roasting business, nobody had anything online about stamping matte black plastic bags. I have to say it slower, I'll mess it up. I'm gonna keep it short. I'm gonna try to keep it as fast as possible because I got kids out there eating, and as soon as they're done, they're gonna be pounding at this door. Also wanted to apologize about the cold I have. I probably sound a little nasally, and I mean, really nothing I can do about that, guys. First things first, I want to talk about stamping some bags, what you're gonna need, and what type of bags I'm talking about. So, the matte black bags are like this. It's kind of a plastic texture. It's from PBFY, their packaging company basically. I'll link this bag in the comments, that way you know exactly what type of bag I'm talking about here. If you want to use them, get them. Not sponsored. Too small. Small channel issues. So real quick, we'll go and roll into it. This is the StazOn ink I use, okay? This stuff, gotta watch my language. This stuff dries super quick. Like, very, very quickly. You stamp a bag, you stamp 2 more bags, that first bag's done. It's dry. You can run your finger over it, do whatever, it won't smudge or nothing. It's bomb. The issue I had in the beginning was I got just regular ink, had these bags, and I would stamp, and it'd be like a week, and it still wasn't dry. I have one, it's probably still not dry. I mean, it was that bad. It's horrible. So anyway, did some digging, found these, but then nobody really had any good stamping tutorials on it. And then Miss Savannah asked me about it, and I was like, I'll go ahead and make one. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the other product. You can get this kit from Michaels, Amazon.com, Walmart probably. It comes in a little kit, your ink, the pad. You also need to get a StazOn ink removal cleaner. StazOn ink cleaner. Basically what this is going to do is it's going to clean the bottom of your stamp. I suggest getting a wood stamp with a little handle. I think I got these from Simply Stamps or Rubber Stamp Champ Company or whatever. I don't know. I'll look up what I did and I'll link it down below too. This here is for basically just cleaning your stamps after they're done. This is super important because it's one of those things nobody ever tells you and you don't know and you screw it up. So don't do it. In the beginning I was not cleaning my stamps after use. So after like 10, 12, 15, 20 times of stamping and never cleaning, all your detail starts to go away because the ink starts to slowly dry every time because you're never cleaning it. So all your detail starts to disappear. So when you stamp and you're just wondering why you got a big old blob of white, that's the reason. I threw away a couple stamps in the beginning because I thought it was the stamp's fault. Comes down to it, all you need is some StazOn cleaner. Take the top off, just run it over the bottom of your stamp like yay, and then dab it down on this paper towel. Let her dry, you're good to go for next time. That's all you need to do. Your detail will all be there. Let me show you what else you're going to need real quick. You're going to need a stamp. Stamp of some sort. They make all different types, sizes, and you're also going to need a hard bar or a block of wood or something like that. This is going to slide inside your bag, and basically this is going to be what you're going to be stamping against. So this is super important. Without no further ado, I mean, we can kind of just go ahead and get into stamping. So I guess that's kind of what you're probably wanting to check out anyway. So let's roll into it. I'm gonna move the camera down, we'll get the bag set up, I'll show you how to stamp a few, and we're gonna roll. Alright guys, so y'all should be able to see a little bit here. Hope the shadows don't get in the way too much. Kind of give you an idea what everything looks like. So you get this little trowel in a trowel in the bags. Basically, I'm getting low on ink, so hopefully they got a little bit that comes out. Yeah, we got some. So usually whenever I'm putting the ink on, I like to do little dots. I think little dots definitely work the best as far as getting ink spread out most efficiently across the pad. You don't have to put an extreme amount, and I'll kind of explain why in a little bit, because you go ahead and just smooth it out like that. Get your little trowel. Now, in the beginning, when you buy your first kit, you're going to need to put a good bit of ink on there because it's going to absorb a lot. I've had this kit for a while, so this already has a good bit of ink already that's been put on it. But you'll know you need to add more ink to your pad whenever you make a stamp and it comes out like this. So the stamp's getting kind of dry and you start running out of ink. It's hard to tell on the pad whenever it looks like that, but you'll mess up a bag whenever you do it. Usually that's the bags that I give family. Alright, first things first is get you a bag. Always get the bag set up first before you start inking your stamp. Put that in there, slide it in there like that. Make sure, move it out the way so I don't hit it. Make sure it fits in there nice and neat like. Then you want to run your hand over it. Make sure the area you're going to be stamping is all flat. There's no creases or anything under there. You want to make sure it's as flat as possible. Real quick, tricks of the trade before I get into it. I have pencil marks where I want my stamp to kind of fall out. So at the crease of this bag, I have a crease between this line and this line. I have some space in there. So I want that space to fall out where this line in the bag is. So basically what I do is I put pencil marks up and to the top of it. That way I'm basically just putting those pencil marks on that crease. And at that point, I know my bag is centered exactly where I want it to be. So, that being said, and again y'all, I truly apologize for the sniffles. Get your ink pad and your stamp. Now don't put your stamp into the ink. You want to be able to see your pad. So, I mean, you want to be able to see your stamp. So, and very gently, you'll see, do the teacup. 2 fingers on it, and just gently pat it. Pat it. You get all around there. Make sure you go in some different directions. That way it gets every little nook and cranny, because nothing's worse than the stamp, then all of a sudden your C in Cedar is missing because that side just for some reason didn't get no ink. Alright, now you can't really tell that there's ink on it, but there is. At this point, I'll go ahead, make sure there's none on your fingers, because as soon as you touch the bag, that bag is damaged. So you want to do this pretty quick because it does dry very quickly. Line those lines up, center the bag, and then press down. Once you get here, you want to gently go and press where you know your stamp is. Don't press on the edges because it'll start kinking your it'll start kinking the stamp to the sides and stuff. Just press where you know there is some stamp under the wood. So with that being said, the pressure, obviously you're not going to be able to tell from what I'm doing here how much I'm giving. Now obviously I'm not putting my entire weight on it because I'm sitting down. You don't have to. If you stamp it good enough, if you get enough ink on the stamp, you have enough ink on your pad, it should be pretty good. You want to hold it there a little bit because that allows that ink to get there. Now whenever you're taking it off, you don't just pick up because this ink sticks pretty good. Hold your bag down with your thumb and just pull straight up. And that's it. That's all she wrote. That's a pretty good little stamp. Remove your bag. I don't know if y'all can see that pretty good. So yeah, we'll go ahead and do another one real quick. Again, open the bag, insert your block of wood, piece of metal. So again, just very quickly run the stamp over. Run it over just like that. You can go a little down the middle like that. Line it up with the crease in the bag. Make sure everything's centered, and boom. Kind of give you an idea of how quick it can be. I'll just do this one like that, and then lift up. And that's it. I want to show you one other thing real quick because this makes it a heck of a lot harder. Go ahead, insert your bag again. Make sure everything's nice and tight, nice and flat. Alright, this time I got a bigger size stamp. If you can see, it basically goes over my bag. I would advise not getting a stamp that is this big. In fact, I would say whatever the size of your bag, you need to let whoever is making your stamp know to make it the size of your bag. And what I mean by that is these stamps are the exact same thing and the same size. The only difference is one says whole bean and the other says ground. But look at the differences in the wood. This one is 10 times more easy to stamp with, just for the simple fact that the wood doesn't extend far out past the stamp, so it doesn't allow much room for kinking and everything. With this one, I can't really see where everything's aligning up, so I mean I really have to kind of guess, and it's super hard. I would definitely recommend getting wooden pads with your stamp that goes along better with your bag. So real quick, just kind of go over everything. These are the bags, matte black bags from PBFY. I'll link them below. That's one we just did. Little finished product, kind of give you an idea of what it looks like if you skip to the end, if you skipped around, if you didn't know what you was kind of doing. This is one. This is a mess up I did here a while back. I don't know how old it is or whatever, but yeah, you're going to have some of these. So don't get discouraged if you have 3 or 4 of them in a row. It took me a long time. Yeah, you're going to burn through some bags before you get good at it. It's all about the pressure. Experiment with the pressure. Maybe when you first do your first bag, press down hard. And then at that point, take it off and say, hey, you need to recalculate and reevaluate. So again, this little opaque ink, if you get the white. Now, StazOn also has different colors. They got black, they got, you know, I think they got a red. It's like 6 or 7 different colors they got. This stuff is super good. So, also I wanted to say, like, on these bags that you mess up on, don't just throw this bag away. In the beginning, take your stamp, re-ink it, and try to stamp up here. Turn it around if you mess up again and try to stamp it down there. These bags are fairly expensive, so if you're going to be learning, it's a heck of a lot cheaper to just go ahead and burn through a bunch of ink and do 3 stamps on one bag than it is to mess up 3 bags because you've been stamping each individually. The other thing too is, like I was saying, if you put too much ink and you press down hard, it's going to smear. So that's why you saw me doing that. Gently just tapping on there. Literally, that's how hard I'm tapping on there. It is not hard at all. Just simple little tap. I'm not squishing it down there. Don't squish it. You squish it, you won't have world problems. I ain't even gonna lie to you. That's really about it. Like, subscribe, comment. If you have any questions, definitely hit me up in the comments below. I'll answer anything I can, help out. If you're doing it and you can't get it to work, shoot me a picture, you know, message me on Facebook or something like that, and I'll check it out. Honestly, I can probably tell by your picture what you're doing wrong. If you're applying too much ink, if you're not applying enough pressure. Heading out. Love y'all. Peace. Y'all couldn't have picked a little bit better setup. Like, of all the places, a white couch and a furry little thing. Actually, I just roasted this coffee this morning. Usually I let it set for a little bit, you're supposed to, but sometimes it get a little itchy. You know what I mean? I get a little itchy. I'm like, you know, let me try it. Let me try a little bit. So anyway, that's what I did. I'm not gonna lie to you, this is my little darker roast I did. Pretty daggone good.